Jesus Christ. I flew for 12 hours. I was in a bus for 8. Then I was on a motorcycle, or that sort of like Vespa-like motorcycle, for 3 hours today. And I thought that I was in the middle of nowhere, as far as from civilization as you could get, basically. But no, I have full 4G reception in the middle of the jungle. and uh, and that's where I am. I'm in the Cardamom Mountains in Cambodia. Like I said, I thought I couldn't get any farther from civilization. Seems like I'm still in the middle of civilization, because the monkeys and the birds and the spiders and the snakes got 4G now too. So, welcome to this live from Cambodia. I'm here working on my book, working on a quite a special story, hunting for the ingredients of MDMA, and I'm gonna tell you all about it. I'm right now. I'm making a time lapse shot of the sun that's setting. So that's what's going on around here. So I have like, I didn't have anything better to do, so I had, I had full 5 bars of 4G reception. So here we go. I think the mosquitoes are gonna have a field day with me. Let's see how that goes. They have been having a field day with me for a while now. I've been traveling through Southeast Asia for the past um, uh, 2 weeks now. So I landed in Vietnam, where my brother lives. Then I took 1 week, more or less, of vacation, and today is basically the first day that I'm really working on a story. This is the Cardamom Mountains, and the Cardamom Mountains is where the sassafras tree grows. I'm trying to see if I can find one right around here. I don't think so. I saw one today, but the sassafras tree, you can make saffron oil from it, and from saffron oil you can make MDMA. And there was kind of a run on saffron oil about 10 years ago. Let me rewind. I mean, I'm writing a book about this, so there's so much to tell that sometimes it's hard to know where to begin, where to end, and how to keep the suspense going. MDMA can be made from a whole bunch of things. You can use black pepper. Yeah, you can use saffron oil. You can use actually a whole bunch of chemicals. But the more sort of like classic way is through saffron oil. And saffron oil can be found in the bark and the roots, and a thing I don't know the word of, but I will look up before I write this book. No, don't know the word. Knoest in Dutch. I don't know. Where this oil can come from. And what happened here 10 years ago is that suddenly there was a huge demand for this saffron oil, because one of the chemical ingredients, they call them precursors, for MDMA was forbidden by the United Nations. So the producers of MDMA had to figure out a new way to create MDMA, and they went back to the sort of like this classic method of using saffron oil. And what happened here suddenly was that this jungle, one of the last wildernesses in Cambodia, well, not here, because like I said, I have fucking full 4G reception. This is not a wilderness, to my like gigantic surprise. But around here, so all of that over there, that's where the jungle starts, and it just goes for like 100 miles or so. There were all these illegal logging operations going on. Farmers from around here went into the jungle, find the sassafras tree, extract the oil, boil it in sort of like clandestine labs, and they would export it, usually to China, sometimes Thailand, Vietnam as well, and then eventually it would land up sort of on the world market for MDMA ingredients. And They cracked down on it here, and it stopped for a little bit, but it wasn't like the problem was solved, because of course MDMA was still illegal, so that market had to be supplied in some sort of way anyway. But the Chinese chemical industry found out that there was a different ingredient that they could use. They call it PMK glycidate. You can sort of forget that, but they didn't need this tree anymore from this jungle over here, and so that problem sort of solved itself simply by simply by the fact that the demand went down suddenly out of nowhere, and the jungle sort of was saved. Fast forward 5 years or so, and there's suddenly a new ingredient that you can also use that also grows around here, and it's called yellow vine. Yellow vine. It's like a root, and if you open it up, you there's like this super oily, it's super yellowish juice that comes out of it, and yeah, from that vine you can also make MDMA. So suddenly there were Vietnamese companies around here that also came in to then suddenly try to also get a hold on that market. And I see that some of you are saying the sassafras tree, doesn't that also grow in the USA? Yes, that's true. It's just that there's not that big of a there doesn't seem to be some sort of like huge illegal market for it in the US. What MDMA is usually made from that PMK glycidate that I talked about, and what was so heartbreaking about what happened here is that I see Missouri. Missouri is wonderful. Nothing against Missouri, but it's not really like sort of the pristine wilderness that you have here. So that's what the story is that I'm making here. It's like half environmental journalism, half war on drugs journalism, and and I'll be traveling through Southeast Asia for the next 6 weeks or so. I'm also going to Myanmar to try and see what happens to opium over there, because it used to be the Golden Triangle used to be one of the main producers of opium in the world, and but that all sort of moved to Pakistan and Afghanistan and Iran now, and I'm gonna try and find out what happened there. It seems like a lot has switched to meth production now over there. All of this stuff is not without risk, so I really have to try and see if I can actually get into these places. And also here, like, I actually officially need a permit to be here as a journalist, which I don't have. It's not so much that I need a permit per se, it's just that the provincial government, if I ask any, I mean, it's Cambodia. Cambodia is like de facto a dictatorship. And if I ask anything here, they just sort of have to ask their bosses, like, hey, can we actually talk about this? And if I don't have that permit, then I don't know, they can kick me out of the country, I can get in trouble, and I don't want that. So is it a good idea to go live on YouTube from here? No, it's not, but I really think that of the 10 people that are watching right now, I don't think that you work for the Cambodian government. So that's why I think that this it's pretty risky, but I can do it. And so I'll have to see. And then after that, I'm going to the Philippines. And in the Philippines, so after Myanmar, I'm going to the Philippines, and I'm gonna try and see if I can do a story on the drug war that goes on the Philippines. That's also gonna be super hard. I'm working to get a visa to get there right now, but it might be that I have to go undercover there as well. So we'll see. Let's see if I can flip the camera around so you can enjoy that beautiful sunset with me, just for 1 sec. Like, this is sort of the time-lapse shot that I'm making of this sunset. Like, so there you can see the jungle. Life is undercover, exactly. But you're so right. Yet like I said, I have a feeling that you guys don't work for the Cambodian government, and that you're not gonna snitch on me. So please snitch on me, because my trip is over. Yes, and I don't want my trip to be over. Yeah. Let me see what you guys are saying. Just gonna say hi to you guys. Richard, it's too bad that you're going on your way to work. Yeah, I realize that a lot of you uh, might be in school right now, or are at work, or just have to go to work. So I'm not sure if you can watch this, if you're allowed to watch this. Maybe you just have to put your headphones in, and then I can still tell you these stories. Um, uh, Nick, aren't I'm concerned about my safety looking for drug ingredients in the wild? Yes, I am. I definitely am. I'm constantly concerned about my safety, and my family and my girlfriend are too. Uh, so I prepared them to be like off the radar for like a bunch of days, but then I arrive here and I'm sending them messages like, "Hey, you can actually talk to me," and that's why I thought it was such a funny idea to go live actually. Um, like it seems like the most normal thing in the world. This was just backwoods for thousands of years. There's nothing going on here. But now the Chinese moved in the past sort of 10 years, and the Chinese are just have half taken over Cambodia. It's crazy. There's this city here. It's called Sinukville, and I was there last week. It's crazy. They're just pumping out skyscrapers out of nowhere. They're building new roads, new bridges. They're building an entire harbor. They're building 60 casinos. Um, and I spoke to this Chinese family. One of them happened to speak really good Chinese, and they said there's basically no rules for them. The Cambodian government isn't really checking on things, and as long as you pay, you can do sort of whatever you want. Um, so uh, uh, these Chinese companies are just coming in like here as well. Most of it is sort of bilingual. The Chinese are basically doing what the Americans have been doing after the Second World War. It's like this gigantic Marshall Plan, where all over the world they go look into economies that are sort of undeveloped, and they just pump in billions to sort of win hearts and minds, and to make a shitload of money. And that's the reason why you have 4G here now, and why this works. It's because of the Chinese. Um, I saw 5 hydroelectric dams around here. Um, they give out logging concessions to Chinese companies, who then, through their back door, basically do anything. So wild animals, all these herbs that they get from here, the sassafras oil to make MDMA, the yellow vine to make MDMA, like almost extinct species that they then export for, I don't know, to get um, people in China's dicks hard and stuff like that. It's really sad actually. But hey, Christopher is saying magic mushrooms, Cambodia. If you know where to find them in this field, then by all means, I'm all ears. Love to love to know where I can do that. Thank you, Nick. That's a really nice compliment. Oh, I did cut out for a second. Yeah, that's I guess the Chinese infrastructure. It's here, but maybe it's not fantastic. Oh, you guys just woke up. Yeah. What time is it now? Is anybody from you on the west coast of the U.S.? Like what time is it? It's around 6 here, so that's 1 o'clock in Europe ish. So that's like, whoa, Jesus Christ! It's like 7 in the morning in the U.S. then. Oh, it's super early. That's why I only have 10 people watching. That's funny. So I hope that some of the people that woke up will be able to see this and see what I'm doing. Um, you used to grow a Cambodian strain of shrooms that will albino. Oh, interesting. 4 a.m. Nick. Oh, so are you still up? Yeah, 1:20 in Journey and 7:20 North Carolina. John, do you have to go to work? 6 a.m. Central. Uh, and I'm super happy actually. This is one of the first moments where I'm actually even announcing that I'm on this trip. I've been wanting to do some Instagram stories. So if you follow me on Thijs Roes, like the Dutch spelling of my name, on Instagram, then you will be able to see those. Because I got this grant from actually the Dutch National Lottery. Super awesome. I've been filing for grants for like the past half year, and in the end, finally something landed, and I got most of the costs for this trip as a grant. So my flight, the rental of that thing, but it's only $5 a day. And actually, my fixer has left me. I think he went back to the hotel. Really nice guy. I'm so happy that I found him, because without a fixer you can't do journalism. So this is, you call it a fixer, sort of like in TV land, you call it a fixer. He speaks the language. He's a journalist, a local journalist himself. He knows how to get things done and how to make sure that we don't get killed by any sort of Chinese mafia, or not be put in jail by local police, because I don't have that permit. Um, and and so far so good. So the fact that I'm actually making this, to me already feels like an accomplishment, um, because I made it thus far. Like this trip has been in my head for like a year. I've been working so hard on it to actually make it happen, and I'm here. So it's pretty cool. I've been I was wondering if you guys know this book. So I'm writing a book about the war on drugs, right? I'm writing a book about the past 200 years, more or less, of the war on drugs, the global war on drugs. So it's a story that goes from anywhere from Amsterdam to California, to Colombia, and to here in Cambodia, Southeast Asia. And it will treat sort of five main types of drugs: opioids, psychedelics, MDMA, weed, and let's call them and just amphetamines in general, or just uppers. Like I'm lumping in speed and coke together, and for some reason I just can't think of the word right now. It's stimulants. There we go. Stimulants. So, and in those 5 parts, I can tell the entire history of the war on drugs. So, the history of the thing itself, psychedelics, what are drugs, MDMA, what is the cost-benefit analysis of the war on drugs, like what benefits might people have, and what is the war against it. Well, this over here, what I told you about the jungle, is a prime example. And then weed will be about legalization, and stimulants will be about the military escalation of the drug war, especially in the 80s and 90s. And yeah, so I'm really typing away at it, but I'm also I have to catch up on all the readings. I'm not sure if you guys know this book. Fantastic book. It's about more or less like the fight to get MDMA legalized as a medicine for PTSD. So it's a book about a soldier who went to Iraq and eventually cured himself of his trauma with MDMA through the fantastic work that MAPS is doing, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Research, by Rick Doblin. So I've done an interview with Rick Doblin as well. He's the guy who's been working on this for the past 20 years. Oh, let me see how my time lapse is doing. And oh, is that done? Sorry, but I don't know why that quits. There we go. Okay, cool, awesome. And so I'm really working on all those things, but I got the grant to at least fill in some of the gaps in all those chapters that I'm making. So I also have a sort of like a media deal with Vice, so I'll probably do at least 2 stories for them. They signed on the grant, which is good. It gives it a little bit more oomph, and I hope I think that's one of the reasons why I got it. Hey, there's a little hole here, so either that's, I don't know. Do any of you guys know a lot about snakes? Tell me about snakes, because I know nothing about snakes. I just know that there are snakes here, and I know that they're poisonous, and they can kill me. And I stepped on a snake a couple of days ago, but that one couldn't kill me. It was like a green snake, and the guy was like, "Green snake is okay, but best to not step on snake." I was like, sounds fair. Sounds fair. Let's not step on snakes. So if any of you actually have jungle experience, unlike me, then by all means tell me if I'm about ready to kill myself. Okay, let's see. More of you are waking up, I see. Oh, 6 a.m. Central, 4 a.m. on the West Coast, Nick. Jesus Christ. Working title for my book, really good, because it changes every week. I think so far the actual title is just going to be the war on drugs, because I'm trying to write a book that's literally, if you don't know anything about the war on drugs, then this is going to be the book that will tell you all. And I've tried to find this book that I'm writing as if to see if anybody else has written it before, and they haven't. But subtitle something like "How to End the Last World War." But then a colleague of mine uh, said maybe you should call it "How the War on Drugs Fucked Up the World." Also, kind of like a cool title. I don't know. I have like anytime that I'm really keeping notes. So whenever I think like, oh shit, this is a good title, then I write it down. So yeah, you gotta. John Wayne got to get tires on your wife's car, then go to work. Okay. Richard Sinclair proposes a war on shrugs. So you're very much against shrugs. Um, Hugs for shrugs. The shrug. Yes, I'm kind of looking for Sesame Street. Sorry for the blurriness here. Um, and Der Blinde Wolf. Der Blinde Wolf. Who is this man? My name is Thijs. For those of you who don't know who I am or what the fuck I'm doing, it's my name is Thijs. I'm a journalist. I can't say that too loud because I'm undercover. Have to rewind a little to the beginning of this video where I explained that all. But I'm reporting on a bunch of stories from about the war on drugs in Southeast Asia, and as you can see, I have a YouTube channel, and I think you subscribed one day. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be here. So, Der Blinde Wolf, you should check your subscriptions because you've seen me before. Okay, calm your heart down if you get bit. That's nice. Oh, hey. I was like, who is this man? Who is this man? I was like, did the police finally show up? Oh. Sina, this is you're live on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, say hi.
Yeah. Hello everyone in YouTube. How are you doing?
Where were
Yeah.
you? Were you at the hotel?
We?
No, you. Were you at the hotel?
No, I'm here. I'm waiting for you. Somewhere here.
Oh, you were just waiting
Yeah,
for me.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's very nice. The sun has set, and the time lapse is going,
Mhm.
and we're still live. I just explained to them what a fixer is and what
Okay.
a fixer does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So far, have we been in any danger so far? No, I don't think.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. No.
Yeah, I don't think it's dangerous.
No, I think.
Everything is okay. Fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think so far the holes in the road were the most dangerous thing.
Mm. Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. The viewpoint along the way from here to Posat, it looked really nice. I
Yeah,
really
right.
appreciate it and enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I enjoy it so far as well. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just that the owner of hotel uh, is in jail right now.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a long story, but
Yeah.
so I hope that that we don't land up there.
Mhm.
Um, and everybody's asking if
Mhm.
there are psychedelic mushrooms growing here.
Yeah.
The answer is no, guys. No, no. um, and oh yeah, oh so you guys want to see the sunset? Okay, sure. That's. I mean, I love how you can see the jungle and hear it all. So
Yeah.
and Sina, what are they growing over there in the distance?
Durian, jackfruit, and banana, and yeah, that's all I know. Maybe some more tree that I didn't know.
Yeah, they're turning a lot of this jungle
Yeah,
into farmland, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Because I think many of the people they live in town or in the other provinces, and they don't have much land to produce.
Yeah, it's all just farmers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, farmers. So they come to Kokong, and I think they.
Sorry, guys, that was a phone call that happened. Somebody called me.
Mhm.
Uh, so sorry about that, but I'm back. So you can see here that they burn down part of the jungle, and then they turn it into farmlands like over here, and it's sort of sad to see because the jungle is one of the most biodiverse places there is. So, Nick Brockelman is asking me if I'm going to see Angkor.
Uncle what?
Angkor Wat, and the answer is no. I really wanted to go. Like this is a work trip for me, so I had 1 week of vacation, and the rest is just 7 weeks of work. And I said to myself like, okay, I'm gonna do one thing, and it's gonna be Angkor Wat. Because I'm really interested to see it.
Yeah.
And but I just don't have the time. No, I just don't have the time. So I think that one day I will come back and do all the vacation, all the tourism and vacation stuff, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
And sorry, I saw your comment, Jonas, about Lithuania. How you got a $30 fine because of a dirty grinder. That sucks. But I'm glad that you at least are not thrown in jail.
Yeah.
There is a what I also heard about what happened in Cambodia is that they have arrested 30,000 people and just put them in rehab, so they have to kick off of drugs.
Yeah.
They force them to kick off drugs basically in a, it's not a prison, but it kind of is a prison, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so a $30 fine sucks, but it's not prison. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna leave you because the sun, as you can see, has set. Some of you are still asleep because it's middle of the night in no, it's early morning in America, and it's people are at work in Europe.
Yeah.
But here in Cambodia, it's chill time. Yes, I think we're gonna go back to the hotel and have a beer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, Nick, you're saying when my book hits the bestseller list, I'm gonna be loaded. One, that's not gonna happen because it's always a nice ambition to have, but I don't think I shouldn't fool myself. Second thing is, if I want to publish it in the US, then you need a good publisher. Like in order to get on a bestseller list, you need to have a publisher that spreads it widely. I don't have a US publisher yet, so anybody if you're watching, know someone, by all means do. So right now I'm mostly talking to Dutch publishers, but I'm writing it in English. So from September on, that's going to be my top priority, to get my agent and publisher in the US fixed. Right now I'm just focusing on getting actually written and doing the story here. Sine, you want to wave at the internet?
Bye bye everyone.
Bye bye everyone. And catch you next time. I think yes, eventually you'll be able to get the book anywhere, so don't worry about it, guys. Bye all, and I will probably check in either from Thailand or from Myanmar or maybe from here, who knows. 4G everywhere, even in the middle of the jungle. See you guys.